Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, I really appreciate that you stopped by. Remember to subscribe while you're here. I'm currently trying to build my subscriber account to be able to get to 1,000. I'll appreciate if you'll be one of the people who will be in the first 1,000 subscribers on my channel. If you're not new here, I appreciate that you came back. It means there's something I'm doing right, and if there's something that I'm not doing okay, please remember to comment down below and let me know. I appreciate positive critique because that will enable not only me produce content that you enjoy, but it will also cater to the entertainment that you want to get while you log on to YouTube. So today we are going to do a video about your assumptions of me and you people. You people have so many assumptions which I'm gonna answer right now. I had done a story asking you guys to tell me what your assumptions are on Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram, my handle on Instagram is maryliz_biugwa. My handle on Twitter, even though I don't use Twitter a lot except for work purposes alone, my Twitter handle is at queerly_so. And then I also asked on Facebook, and my Facebook is biugwa maryliz. And yeah, I got some replies even on Messenger and everything, and we're going to deal with all that I received. But we're going to start with the Facebook post that I had made. And first, one of the assumptions that I got is that I'm married. No, I am not married. Is marriage something I'd want to pursue? Definitely, I'd want to when I find my soulmate, which I want to believe I have, then get married and settle down and have a family and yeah, just enjoy life because I'm that type of person. I believe in longevity, I believe in commitment, I believe in just sharing, I believe in just, finding that person and spending my life with them. But as of now, no, not yet. Um, must be a very caring person. I definitely am caring, but it's not without being cautious about it, because I've always been a caring person, but some of the hardest lessons I've learned about existing as a human being is that you have to do a bit of self-preservation while you're doing it, because if you don't do it, then a lot of people here will use the aspect of you that is kind, that is caring and everything, to take advantage of you. And so I am caring so much about not only the people that I love, people who are in my circle, people who are in my corner, but generally I care for humanity. I care for my surroundings. I care for people whether I know them or not. I just care for human beings, and that's that on that. The third assumption is that I am wife material. Well, it depends with where you you wanna shop and buy and everything. I believe everyone can find their material depending on the shop they're buying and everything. But to just look at it from a perspective of my work, my activism and everything, I don't subscribe necessarily to the term wife material. It's very reducing of my femininity, of my womanity, of me just existing as a woman. And so for me, I feel like those are some of the patriarchal terms which have come up and that are used in a very derogative way to make other women who are not married, women who are not interested in unions and partnership, look like they're lesser human beings just because of that. And so for me, that is not a term I subscribe to. But on a lighter note, again, I ask, depends with where you're buying. um, Another assumption was that I'm crazy. I'm crazy. It's true, I'm crazy. Probably one of the reasons why I don't do weed or those hardcore drugs or whatever, because if I do those, I think the world cannot be able to handle me, because I'm naturally just a crazy person. And it's not crazy as in crazy, but crazy as in I'll go to any lengths to achieve anything that I believe in. I'm a strong believer. I'm a person who is driven by passion and everything, and so because of that, then I end up being a very what would be deemed as a crazy person, even though for me that's just me being me. Another assumption is that you must be very choosy. Well, every human being is choosy. We have to be able to choose the things, the people, the whatever, in any circumstance that you find yourself, like say for instance you're shopping for clothes, you have to choose, right? If you're eating food, you can't just eat any food because it's there. You have to eat the food you've chosen to eat and everything. So I feel like choices are a big part of who we are as human beings, and as such it can't necessarily be an assumption, because in one aspect or the other, any other human being can be choosy as well. So yeah, there's that. um and then another assumption is that you have a big, caring, loving heart. It's true. I do have a big, loving, caring heart. But don't for a second think that that is something that you can take advantage of, because I'm also not cautious per se, but I'm very cognizant of the fact that human beings are different. Human beings come with different attributes and characters, and I'm keen to identify those so that I can not render myself vulnerable or put myself at a place where anyone can take advantage of me just because of that. And then uh, this one, probably a shout out to Mary Eve. I'll give shout outs to everyone who did the assumptions. We have Cynthia Nabiswa, shout out to you. We have Fahe, shout out to you. And then we have Pine Bena, shout out to you. You think I'm crazy, Pine. You think I'm crazy. We shall see. And then we have Jerinje, shout out to you and thank you for responding. And then we have SS. SS is the one who thinks I have a big, caring heart. And yeah, like I said, I do. And then we have Mary Eve, who thinks I'm light skinned. Well, I don't know if this is light skin, but this is me. So yeah, we have that. And those came from part one, which is Facebook. And then we're gonna look at part two, which is also Facebook but from my messenger. And then someone said one of the assumptions is that I look happier now. I am happier now. I looking on a span of 2 years, looking where I was 2 years ago and looking at where I am right now, I am way happier. I am way happier. I have people in my life who have chosen me. I'm doing things that I love doing. Am I where I want to be? No, I still have a long way to go. I still have a lot of ambitions and things that I want to achieve and everything. And so I'm still on that journey in pursuit of the things that I want to achieve in my life. But comparing 2 years ago and now, I am way happier. I'm way peaceful. I'm way comfortable with myself. Although we can't, like, I can't say 100% that I'm out of the woods in terms especially of depression and such like things, because it's a wave really. Sometimes you're fine, sometimes you're not. It's really circumstantial. Sometimes it's things that I have no control over, and I would love to change them, but I can't change them because it is what it is and everything. But outside of that, everything put into consideration, if it was a percentage thing, I would say 70% I'm doing much, much, much better. I am happier, and it's much more solid and stable. The happiness is much more solid and stable. I Like I said, I have people in my life that have chosen me, and I have chosen them, people that I love deeply and immensely, people that I can go over and above, I can die for even. But most importantly, I'm at a happy place in the sense that I have learned. There was a time I struggled a lot with loving myself a lot, which is kind of insane. I struggled a lot, even in the very recent past, because like I said in a post that I made earlier, to love yourself is a journey that sometimes you win at, sometimes you don't win at, and it's really where you never really tell where you will be tomorrow. So you just have to wait until tomorrow comes for you to experience what you'll experience and everything. And so that said, there was a time I was at a phase where I did everything that I did not for myself at all. I never put myself in the equation. I was just here, constantly just telling myself, I'm here until I'm not. And for as long as I'm here, I'm just here. It has nothing to do with me anymore. I had lost touch with myself. I had lost touch with who I am as a person. I had lost touch with my being and everything. And that was probably one of the lowest moments I was at. And I'm glad I can say currently I'm finding a great footing in terms of even just loving myself a bit more each day, and appreciating myself, and just appreciating the journey that I've walked, which is not necessarily an easy journey, but I'm grateful that I've been able to walk the journey, and now I'm here where I am, and I know I can get better. I'm just ensuring that every day I'm waking up with that motivation to be able to tell myself I still have a long way to go, but I'm willing to go the way. So that's where I am currently, and I appreciate that assumption. And then another assumption that I got was from yeah, this one, I think it's one that appeared the most. I do not know why, because I don't think I've ever passed myself as one. But the assumption that has come in mostly is that I'm low-key bisexual. Well, I am not bisexual. I may use the is it the acronym? Is it an acronym? I don't know. BI a lot. I don't use it because I'm bisexual. I use it because my name is Biubwa. Biubwa. And I have a friend called Joanne. Shout out to Joanne, who basically the other part of why I like calling myself B is kind of emotional, and we're not planning to get emotional here now. But I have a friend of mine who calls me B, and so when she calls me B, when she started calling me B, she was just calling me B as in letter B. But I figured because my name is Biubwa, B then fits perfectly, but I should add I into it. And it has been something that I've been calling myself for a while now, and that's why my initiative is called Be Kind Initiative. It's BI Kind Initiative, Biubwa Kind Initiative. And then when I was doing the project B Speaks, which is more or less halfway through, because I did the first part where I was posting for 365 days, I also used B Speaks, and most people thought it's B Speaks to mean Bi Speaks. And I loved that perspective of it, because for me, I used it to drive the conversation about bisexuality, and how we have this biphobia that goes around, and assumptions and projections really on bisexual people, where most of the time we say just because someone is bisexual is going to cheat on you with someone of the opposite sex from the one they're dating and everything. And we project and brand bisexual people as confused people and everything. And because I have totally different views and beliefs about that topic as a whole, where I think bisexual people are valid just by the mere fact that they're bisexual like that, and we don't need to trivialize their sexuality, because it's not our reality to trivialize, it's their reality. And we need to be able to not invalidate people just because we think we have opinions about who they are. And so because of that, I was like, I could kill two birds with one stone, where we can have a conversation about bisexuality, but at the same time I can be able to do the thing that I'm doing, because I don't think I need to justify why I used B, because it's my name, and hence it's not something that I have to justify a lot. So I decided to just go with the flow. But on me being bisexual, no, I'm not bisexual. I'm a queer woman. I get sexually attracted to women. I definitely know I'm gonna marry a woman. I definitely know if I'm gonna start a family, I'm gonna start a family with a woman, and that's it. Another assumption that I got, and these assumptions were coming from Instagram. From Instagram, I got many assumptions actually, and one of the assumption is that, and I'll read it. One of the assumption was that it's actually Facebook still. One of the assumption was that I am a snob. Come on, people. Am I a snob? I get that a lot. I get that I'm a snob. I always get that I intimidate people. And I always say, preserve how you think about a person, or your opinion about a person, until you get to interact with them personally. Because then for the people who have interacted with personally, at no given point has anyone said I'm a snob. I've had situations where someone would see me and I wouldn't recognize them. I'm also a human being. I can't. I just cause I'm very vocal and I interact with a lot of people, especially on my social media platforms, doesn't mean that translates to me knowing all these people in person. And so sometimes I can see a person and I do not know them. That doesn't mean I'm a snob. Or if I have this thing, when you call me on the streets, I hardly answer, because I'm like, if you know me, you can come close to me. You don't have to, like, I don't think it's that serious. Whenever someone says I look intimidating and everything, I can't walk uh, in town, for instance, on the streets, looking welcoming to everyone. That's how you attract people who will attack you. That's how you attract thieves. That's why you attract all these unnecessary things. So you just walk like a normal human being, not like I'm wearing that face where I'm saying don't come near me or anything like that. But also I'm not walking around smiling and everything. And so to say I'll walk around the streets looking all inviting and everything is not necessarily something that you will meet and everything. But best believe, if you come up to me and say, hi, my name is so and so, I know you from everyone who I've met with such circumstances, who have come up to me and talked to me. Never have I ever like told someone, even if I do not know them, even if I do not remember them, I'll still tell them I'm grateful that you come and said hi to me. I'll ask them their Facebook name and I'll go on Facebook and I'll be able to send them a message so that we can be able to have conversation and everything and continue from wherever we stopped while we met in person. So I'm that type of a person. I don't know how that makes me a snob, because again, that is not a responsibility that I have to bear to explain whether I'm a snob or not. It's an assumption, I know, but also the explanation of it has to come from the person who thinks I'm a snob. And then another assumption comes from Alice Belinda. Another assumption comes from Alice Belinda, who says, you can do anything to help someone out. I can do anything to help someone out. I'm an activist, I'm a feminist, I'm a human rights defender. That's the work that I do, and I don't do it expecting any monetary benefits or anything like that from it. I do it because I'm passionate about it. And how I ended up doing this from passion is because I've been on the receiving end of having my rights deprived, and that didn't feel good. That didn't feel good at all. And then from when I was a kid, I was pretty much a vocal kid. Despite the fact that it was really hard to speak about some things about my life and everything, I was generally and averagely a very vocal kid. And I've always grown up knowing it's important to be able to voice your opinions if you have any about something. And so that said, I have always been the kind of person who, you know, would go over and above and out of my way. I believe strongly that you don't have to experience something for you to know that it's something that shouldn't happen to another person. By the mere fact that you can see another person going through a tough time, by the mere fact that you can see another person struggling with something, by the mere fact that you can see another person is not as happy and comfortable as you are, just because of one reason or the other, means they have a right to enjoy it better. As long as you look like you're the privileged one in the room, then there's another person who's not privileged and they deserve better. And so for me, I'll go out of my way, I'll go over and above to ensure that if it's about our rights, then these people get their rights. And I'm more on systemic change than anything else, because when the system changes, then automatically people get to enjoy better rights, people get to live more freer lives, people get to live more happier lives and all that. And then another assumption that I got, now probably these are some towards the main side of the spectrum, where people were like, you became gay for clout and everything so that you can become rich and everything. Listen, people, being gay does not make you rich. You're just who you are. It's your sexual orientation, it's your identity, it's your gender identity, it's who you are. Just like the way you are straight, I don't think you make any money just by the mere fact that you're straight. You make money by doing the job that you do. You make money by doing the business that you do. You make money by whichever way, but it has nothing to do with your sexuality and everything. And the same way is how a queer person exists. Their sexuality is just their sexuality. On other spectrums of I've read a lot from one side to another, including Ezekiel Mutua posting at some point on social media during the time Rafiki was on ban, before the ban was lifted. Ezekiel Mutua posted somewhere, apparently gay people it's a huge recruitment that is happening and they're given 200,000 Kenya shillings a month. That's not true. In fact, because of those assumptions, you find a lot of queer people are struggling out here. And there's no way you can tell someone you're struggling and they'll believe, because people have this belief in the society that queer people get money for being queer. Nobody gets to pay you for being who you are. Just like the way a straight person is not paid for being who they are, a queer person is also not paid for being who they are. We're just human beings, we're just existing, we're just doing our thing, we're just living our lives, we're just seeking pleasure like everyone else. We are just keen enough to be cognizant about the fact that our way of seeking pleasure, our way in which we use our bodies intimately and everything is not the same way as we have been socialized to think it is the only way, and that ought to be respected regardless. Another assumption that I got is that I'm rude. Well, I am. If you deserve for me to be rude, of course, definitely I'm gonna be rude, because then it's not all the time that I receive kindness. It's not all the time that I receive, calmness and patience and all those things that I'm expected to be. So if you're gonna be rude to me, there's nothing wrong with me reciprocating that, because then at the end of the day, we are in a jungle and we are all trying to survive. So somehow, some way, we all need to survive. But in a place where people know how to watch their boundaries and respect other people, then I'm also happy to watch my boundaries and respect other people. And if it's rudeness you're demanding from me, then it's rudeness you'll get. Point blank, period. That brings us to the end of the assumptions that you guys had sent. Of course, in future, we'll be able to do more assumptions and everything. If more come up, who knows, we'll do an updated version of the assumptions you have of me and everything. And of course, I'll be happy to do another video in future and everything. But for those who sent in the assumptions, I'm really, really appreciative. I'm really glad, like I said here earlier. I appreciate positive critiquing, because when you critique me positively, then I'm able to better the content that I share. And when I better the content that I share, then you're able to enjoy the content that I'm sharing more. And so remember to comment down below if you have any video suggestions that you would want me to do, whether it's about myself or if it's collaborations. Just mention down below who, if it's a queer person, if it's just anyone you'd like me to do a collaboration with, and I'll be able to see if I can be able to do a collaboration with them. But otherwise, remember please to subscribe. I'll still ask you again and again, subscribe, and tell your friends to subscribe as well. The more you are here, the more appreciative I'll become, and the more content I'll be able to create for you guys. And so before we leave, I'll say what I normally say amid COVID-19. I hope you're staying safe. I hope you're staying at home if it's an option you can utilize. I hope you're sanitizing. I hope you're keeping clean. And I hope every time you leave the house, you're wearing your mask. It's important that you do. Always remember to be kind to one another. In fact, during this time, we really need kindness amongst each other. And the most important part of kindness is you should remember to be kind to yourself. Until next time, good vibes, and I'm out. Peace.